let me start off by saying thank you so much for joining us. Right, it's a real pleasure to have you here, Tony. Please, could you tell us a bit about yourself, about the company that you run, and your history with the repair industry?
Right. Okay. So Tony Mastronardi, CEO of Buyback Booth. This is a company that I started around 2015. I started to take a look at the overall wireless industry, from wireless to repair. It's quite a wide gamut of available locations. Um, and I know that today we're going to be talking about repair specifically, right? I mean, I know you've this is the eye of the storm for you, is repair, and we do have new features that we're addressing the repair market. But I do want to say that I started in the wireless industry. We had our own stores here in Montreal, Canada, with the Rogers. We were Rogers wireless agents. We built that up to 20 stores. I sold that. And then I got into the kiosk industry at the beginning of the internet. I know a lot of the listeners are going to be younger than myself, but I'm back in the day when, to most people in North America, the internet was AOL, and getting an email was you have mail, and you're all excited when you got an email. And I started to tinker with music and downloading music at the time. So I built the world's first commercially available music kiosk, so known as jukeboxes. I started a company called TouchTunes, and it became the number one company in the jukebox industry worldwide, with over 73,000 of these kiosks from Canada, US, Mexico, and the UK. Then at about the year, I said around 2015, I was challenged from someone in the wireless industry, because there seems to have been a big gap inside the diagnostic part of the industry. So once the phone is sold brand new, from then on, anything you want to do with a smartphone or a cell phone, you kind of really have to know what shape is it in right now. And there are so many different ways, so many different subjective ways to diagnose it. And I was given that challenge to find a way that you can diagnose a phone and do it repeatedly, confidently, objectively, and if you can have a record of it. And all this, including the cosmetics, because there's a lot of apps out there, right? I mean, everyone, and I know all your stores use, different kind of ways to diagnose, either plug in, not plug in a phone. But then you get to that question of the interpretation of a nick. Is that good? Is that bad? How big is the nick? Is it a crack? Is it a scratch? And if you want to do anything with that phone, whether it's, if you're going to repair it in the store, you got technicians there. That's great. And they'll see it and they know what to do. But if ever you want to have other services that you need third party people to come into your store, whether it's insurance people, whether it's loaner phones, whether it's certified pre-owned phones, whether it's a trade-in of that phone, and you want to sell those phones, well, then those third parties want to know confidently the shape of that phone, and that's what we built. We built kiosks that can quickly get an accurate diagnostic or evaluation of the phone that includes all of its functionality as well as 360-degree cosmetics of the phone. So that's basically what Buyback Booth is all about, and that's the starting block. So anything else is built from there. So far, clear?
Yes, absolutely. And I must say, it's quite an illustrious history that you have. It's really interesting to hear that you came from a different avenue, and in 2015 you decided to create a diagnostic, a kiosk and software, and started Buyback Booth to be able to take on that challenge. So, could you tell us a bit about how that challenge came to be? Who challenged you in the first place, and how things went from there?
Right. So this is not known, but the guy who challenged me actually is from PCS Wireless. people from that company knew other people that I knew out in Canada, and they knew of my background in kiosks. When you build any kind of computerized network, and really a jukebox was one of the first IoT devices, because that we came out with that in 1998. And so you had all of these IoT devices that were interconnected through the internet, keeping tabs on all of the songs played. We were also the first company to be licensed by record labels. I mean, when I went to see some of the record label people, they had no idea what I was talking about. Digitized music, MP3s, and they'd look left and right at, does anyone know what this guy's talking about? What are MP3s? And then to ask them to license us their library of songs from this little guy out of Montreal, Canada, not from the music scene. So all of those things were, built sort of, like you said, a bit of a reputation. And folks at PCS Wireless got wind of a little bit of what we did, and then threw us that challenge. And I did go to their operations in New York a couple of times, and I was just blown away by the number of devices that come in on a daily basis, and there's wall-to-wall personnel testing these things out. And I started to learn that, they need to test these out, because there's really no confidence about the tests that are done outside of this warehouse. And so the challenge was, well, wait a minute, we have technology. You can certify a test and an evaluation and keep a record of it, date stamped, time stamped, with pictures to prove this is the shape it was in. If ever there's a dispute, even with a certified system, there still might be that little dispute. Like, we've got one client I was talking to yesterday that he wants to know 3 dead pixels and below is a good screen. Over 3 dead pixels is not a good screen. Now, if the valuation's done by, a college student that's working in a summer job for 2 months, 2,000 miles away, a month and a half ago, who's going to go tell you that it had 2 pixels or 3 pixels 2.5 months from the guy? But when you do it in a enclosed space with pictures that are time-stamped, you can go back and say, oh, I'm sorry, we screwed up. It was 4 pixels that were burnt, not 3. The proof is right there. You see them. Or we then would defend and go, listen, there were 3 at the time. If something happened in your warehouse, I don't know, but there were 3. Look at the pictures. You can see them. Or a scratch or a nick or a crack or whatever it is, right? So the challenge came from them, and we picked it up and said, okay, let's see what's out there in the industry. And everyone knows EcoATM. They were not as big as they are today back in the day, but of course I got inspired by EcoATM and seeing what they were doing. And I come from that kiosk world where TouchTunes has now over 100 patents, of which I think I'm still named on over half of those. So intellectual property is very important to me, in both sense of the words. When I have it, I want to make sure that we have something and it's protected. And when others have it, I respect the fact that they did it. But then that just means you got to study real hard and see, okay, so this is how you did it. Let's see, is there another way to do it? And if I'm going to have to figure out another way, can I figure out even a better way? Or can I service a little bit of a different part of the market, because you kind of have that one cornered, and we're not going to butt heads legally for no reason. So I'm not going to do that. And, we built a machine the size of EcoATMs. We built several of them, 400 pounds, 7 foot tall. And we put them out in malls. And some of them ended up being in wireless stores. And some of them ended up being in repair stores. And we learned a lot, because that's what we put out there. And we started to look at the data of what was coming in and what can we do with those units that were coming in, the phones that were coming in. And we realized that wireless stores get the bulk of the volume of customers that want to trade in a phone, because that's the natural tendency of someone. If they're going to look at their phone and it's broken or it's outdated or they just fed up with it, they're probably going to go to wireless store to get an upgrade, and then they'll bring theirs along. And that's where there's that question of, do I want to leave it in this store, get a trade-in or not? The repair stores were not getting that, right? I mean, they'd get people, and we saw them use the kiosks, so they would use it, find out that it's worth, $187, but they wouldn't leave it there because they'd make the decision of repair or not to repair. And if it was not to repair, they would ask to see, well, can I trade it in here? In the stores that we were in at the time, and now things are changing, but the stores that we were in at the time were not doing certified pre-owns. So they didn't have another phone to give that client. And if you don't have another phone to give that client, he's really left with the decision of, do I want to repair or do I get out of the store? As opposed to, do I want to repair? Oh, it's worth 187. Your certified pre-owned is 480. How about, you just knock the price down to me and here, take my phone. And that's where I think that that's where it's going to today, but it was not there, 6, 7 years ago. It wasn't there. But we backed off from the repair industry a bit until it started to pick up, and until we had more features or more programs that we could bring into repair stores. Because the repair stores, to me, has kind of a special place because it's very similar to the jukebox business. It's got a lot of smaller companies across North America that handle that. It's not, it's not a Verizon type of a thing where you've got thousands and thousands of stores owned by a company that you've got to, play around in the executive halls to get a decision. Jukeboxes are the same. You go to your corner bar and a guy might own 2-3 bars across the city, and you have your sales guy that makes a deal, and you got 2-3 bars, or you got 2-3 bowling alleys, and you grow organically that way. Repair stores, what I saw was it's about the same thing. It's very similar. You don't have humongous players, even though, of course, stuff like You Break I Fix and CPR, you've got a fair number of stores there, but there's a lot of smaller players. And those are the ones that we looked at and said, okay, so what is the need here? What can we do with our technology that helps repair stores? I'm sure that's what you're going to ask in an upcoming question.
Absolutely. You're right on the money over there. But I'm really interested in the dynamic that you saw, the sort of parallel that you saw with the, repair stores and, the jukebox business that you had running. It's very interesting to me that, you saw that parallel and you decided that, that was a lot more what you were comfortable with. And was that one of the reasons why, you were really inclined to work with repair stores?
It definitely, like I said, it has kind of that spot of familiarity with me. It's not to say that we're not working with the other players, because we are. When it's pure trade-in, we do, and we are talking as we speak. We've got, things going on with all of the big players, the billion-dollar corporations. It's just that the decision or the sales cycle there is not measured in hours, weeks, or months, but in years, right? I mean, they give out a contract that's locked down, and so then you've got to sort of get into that flow with them, and we believe in it. They're interested in the technology, but repair stores, like I said, it's got that familiarity for me specifically, because I got into that industry of dealing one-to-one and making deals with other entrepreneurs, other businessmen. Because most of the people in that industry, that's what the repair store is. It's an entrepreneur who's decided, hey, you know what? I'm tired of doing what I was doing before. I think I can do this. Let me open up a spot and let me start getting volume. It's not the type of thing where it's a sort of a corporate structure where you're an executive and you were an executive at another company and you come in to be the executive of this company. It's a little bit of a different philosophy. And I come as an entrepreneur in all my businesses ever since I was a kid. That's all I've done. I really never was good in corporate work. Because for me, it's a risk reward. And I just, I'm 61 and I still have arguments with my wife. And she says, is this the last one? Yeah, this will be the last one, honey. But that's what I said last time too. So I've kind of lost credibility in those years that I've said this is the last one. So the dynamic is different, and it's more vibrant, and it's more risk taking, right? I mean, an entrepreneur, is more of that guy who's going to be quick to say, okay, hold on. What do I need? Does this sound good? Can we do a deal? Can we try it out for a while? Or what can we do? And if it works, I'm there. I'm with you. So those are the guys that we're talking to in the repair industry. And especially now that we've just turned the light on, a green light on a new feature, which is bringing protection plans, full phone bumper to bumper protection plans to the repair stores that don't have this. I know the big guys have it because it's easier for them to talk to an insurance company. But we've done that work. So we've talked to insurance companies. They've tested the diagnostics that we do, and they're happy to back us up with a protection plan that can start immediately, no 30-day waiting period, no wait to see the phone, because they are plugged in with us and they see the phone immediately and they know the shape it's in immediately. So if the client says, yes, I want to sign up, the minute that first credit card payment goes through, the phone's protected bumper to bumper. So we want to bring that to the repair stores, because one thing that we did see is there's really two times when a phone user is kind of confronted with that decision of buying a protection plan. And it's either the day he buys the phone new and he's got that 30-day with the manufacturers, Apple and Samsung and whatnot, to make that decision of getting the manufacturer's warranty. But there's a big swath of the population that doesn't pick that up and then forgets it until their best friend goes to repair a phone, or their sister goes to repair a phone, or they themselves have to go repair a phone and they get the sticker shock. They may be confronted there again and say, geez, I wish I had paid that, $677 or $822, because we pride ourselves on having one of the best prices out there right now. And our top phone would be a $9.99 per month charge to be bumper to bumper protected. But that's when that looks a lot smaller than the sticker shock you've just been hit with. So
absolutely, no doubt. I completely agree with over there, because that's one of the major I think areas which is lacking in a lot of independent repair shops that are starting out, where they cannot sort of give that sort of warranty, get that sort of certification, and get more customers in the making. I know that there are a lot of repair shops out there that once they have things rolling, they do offer that. But if it's a lot more accessible on the lower level, on the grassroots level, I believe that it'll make things a lot easier for people to start their business and offer more and get more customers. And I believe that's the sort of mindset that you approach this with, and had to that's sort of mindset that you had when you decided to bring this into your core offerings.
It's exactly it. That's what we said is, you got a store, you're going to have people coming in, in the early day, like when we had our wireless store, we tried to do some of the repairs ourselves, and we try to bunch up repairs that had to get done and then get a technician. But, the cost of a technician is not something that you can do on a 40-hour-a-week basis all the time. And that's now evolved, which is great, because there's dedicated repair stores that do it. But even that started as just a repair store, and then it became repair and some accessories, because the guy that comes in, he might be looking to upgrade or protect his phone with some accessories. And I'm seeing now what's starting to be added in is these certified pre-owns, the CPO phones. And then the question is, but where do I get them from? If I have to stock up, well, am I going to go on the auction sites and get them? Some of the clients that we go to, I mean, right now what we're pushing hard is, we'd love to be the guys that help you in that trade in, and you buy the phone that comes in, and you can either resell it to a client, have it in stock, resell it to a client, or we can have one of our partners buy it back, or you can sell them online. But if you're in there and you're helping, giving more options to your clients, only good can come out of that. If he only has the option of repairing or not repairing, that's a very binary decision, right? He comes in, it's repair or not repair. You add accessories, it becomes repair, not repair. But if I repair, I'm now going to pay out some money, and why not, an extra $20 and get a screen protector or whatnot, whatever the price fee is. On top of that is, if it's, well, wait a minute, how much would it be if we traded in the phone? What would I get for it? So we have one of the features in our kiosk is what we call Market Quote Live, and that can be turned on or off. I mean, we don't ram it down anyone's throat, but if you put in a phone in our kiosk, we can also tell you roughly, you and or your client, roughly what is it worth in the market today. And there's really, three markets. It's either you're going to be the store that buys it in, so the big business to business transaction, or if it's a customer to business online thing, like a Gazelle, like a Declutter, and what it's worth to these guys. Or if you want to take the responsibility yourself and put it on a Facebook Marketplace or on eBay or whatnot, roughly what you're going to go get. So you can see a phone. So this might give me $100 if I do it this way, quick, dirty, and cheap, right here, right now. I don't care. I don't have time for this because I've got other things to do. Or, okay, if I take it back and I log in to somewhere else and I sell it and I send it to a declutter, although they're going to have to believe what you say and don't be deceitful, because then you can get another little disappointing email in 2 weeks' time saying you were wrong. So you take a little bit of a risk, but you might get that extra $40-$50. Or if you really want to take the challenge and put it on Facebook and do your own sales and get appointments and then go meet the people at the local 7-Eleven, and then they don't show up, but some people do that, right? I mean, there's everything for everyone. So our philosophy is, let's bring more possibilities into the repair stores and have the repair entrepreneur decide, here's what I want. Here's what I'd like. I do want to do this, but I don't want to do Market Quote Live, but I do want to offer trade-in. I want to offer trade-in, but I don't want to buy my own phones. Can you guys handle everything? Yes, we can handle the whole thing, and your client gets something, and he gets you can get a coupon to an in-store credit, so they have to either apply it to their other phone or buy accessories with it. So whatever the entrepreneur repair store wants to do, that's what we're trying to accommodate within reason, obviously. I mean, you can't please everybody.
Absolutely true. And it's great that, there are more options being offered to repair store owners because, like you mentioned, more is always better in terms of options. If you have a customer that comes in with the option to only either get repaired or, take their business elsewhere, it's kind of leaving money on the table. And that's not really good for, the growth of the repair industry, of independent repair stores. And, if they had more that they could do, like you mentioned accessories, you mentioned buybacks, obviously, you mentioned certified pre-owns. So the more options that they provide to the end customer, that's the more value that they're giving to them. And that sort of option, I believe, is what a lot of people strive later down the line when they realize that, okay, I can't just make money off of repairs. I have to do more. But if you offer them that option right from the get-go in a nice, convenient package, as you are doing, I believe that has, that gives them quicker, scalability.
Yeah, and there's scalability, and there's also something that I learned back in the days when we had our wireless stores, where part of the remuneration was based on the residual payment, right? I mean, making a little cut off their invoices. And I think it may have changed over the years, and maybe it's not as much as it used to be. But we had enough clients from our one store that it became unbelievably interesting every month, the kind of money that would just come in, whether we opened the doors or not, right? And I took that philosophy, and when I started my jukebox company, it really was the cellular industry that motivated me to change the whole philosophy, the way that industry was working. It wasn't a humongous industry. It was a $2 billion industry in the U.S., but there wasn't there wasn't a dozen players. There was maybe four or five players. And yes, I was a little kid out of Montreal who started, no one knew, but I'm like a bit of a bulldog. So I got the technology done right, and we started to sell it. And we went into that industry and said, we're going to do some revenue sharing with them. So all they had to do is buy the jukebox, and then we just wanted a certain percentage of the take, and they got the second percentage. That way our interests were aligned, right? We want to make sure that the customer gets his best experience, and that the entrepreneur who buys it and places those jukeboxes makes money, makes it every month, makes it all the time, and we get a little bit. And when we looked at doing a trade-in, and especially now with the protection plans for the repair stores, it's a perfect opportunity to get in on a recurring revenue model, because once you have a client say, yes, I do want to take that protection plan, it's, $695 a month, and every month that, he's paying his bill and he's being protected. So he's getting value for his payment. I know insurance has a bad rap and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, if you drop that phone in the toilet and you pick it up and it's gone to waste, you like the idea that you can call someone and say, hey, repair or replace, my friend. That's the promise. I paid my thing, right? So he's getting something for it. And if a repair store can do that with a certain percentage of their clients, we've got, as I said, it's a brand new thing, but we've worked with some people that have done this in the industry. And we're looking at that after a year, you can build up a residual model that is paying for your rent. And growing. I mean, that's after a year, but as you continue growing your base, and we try to keep as many of them on as possible by having that protection plan transferable to their next phone. The more you build it up, that little store is starting to bring in some nice cash, and assured cash. I always used to like to say, on the first day of the month, when we'd open our door on the first day of the month, we already knew what our base income was going to be, because of the residual payments. And then you build on top of that.
That's a pretty smart way to go about it, I believe. Yes, and having that sort of recurring revenue model within the repair industry actually serves it quite well.
Yeah, I think it also takes it blunts any highs and lows, any seasonality. Even the pandemic, right? I mean, the laws come out where, now it's you're going to close the store. If you had built up a recurring model revenue, at least you'd know, hey, you know what? As long as those credit cards are getting paid every month, there's a cut coming to us, and then it gives you time to figure out, what are you going to do with your business? Are you going to open up? Are you going to change location? Are you going to go online? Are you not going to go online? And by the way, I forgot to mention, some of that technology that we've developed at the booth can also be done online. We do have apps that's getting upgraded in the next couple of months. So whoever is within our family, they would have that availability, that if they have clients that are done online, we've got a patent pending device-to-device diagnostic that, again, goes through our same AI, because we do have a tech center that's AI-backed. And has humans overlooking all the transactions. So that's why I'm saying, when we certify a transaction, it's certified. That's that phone. But one of the challenges another challenge we were given just before the pandemic from the bigger wireless companies were, hey, a lot of the guys are starting to move online. How do you translate what you guys do to do it online? So, guys sat down, we took a look at everything. We took a look at how do you get the same degree of confidence off an evaluation without having to ask the client, well, is your phone cracked? Yes or no? How many nicks? How many scratches that are bigger than 3 centimeters? The only way to do is with pictures. So we've developed a quick it's driven with QR codes. Just point your phone and it becomes the diagnostic phone, the phone that takes the pictures, while the other one just sits there waiting to be taken a picture of. And you're instructed to just place it on top, and we do the rest. You don't have to click anything. We'll sense the other phone, and then we'll use the speakers of one to listen to to emit the sound, and the microphone of the other one to pick it up, because that too in our booth gets done, right? It's completely objective. When you put it in, you'll hear a sound sweep, you'll hear the phone vibrate. So we have the booth emit the sound, the other one's receiving it, and then vice versa. The phone emits the sound, the booth receives it, and everything gets analyzed digitally with an AI engine. So we've translated that to also be able to do online now.
Wow, that's I'm guessing that required quite a lot of R&D and a lot of effort to be able to bring it online, because there are obviously going to be some limitations, if it's not being done in your booth. So how did you come? How was the struggle over there?
Yeah, these so when I started this company and I started to see the that we're going to be doing these kiosks and the level of involvement that we have to take in maintaining these networks, whether it's a kiosk or even a phone. I mean, a phone is not a it's not a kiosk when you think of it, but it's a device that's out of your reach. It's 1,000 miles away, and I always use thousands of miles because when you tell someone it's down the road, they think that's easy. It's the same thing whether it's down the road or 1,000 miles away, it's not within your reach and you need to control it and you need to know what it's doing. So when I saw that, I went back and rehired all my engineers that we had at TouchTunes growing that network and making it be reliable, notwithstanding that it's a different technology, but engineers, once they're given that challenge, you sit around and okay, so how would you do this? And how do you make it easy? It should be as easy as picking a song on a jukebox. And we had our challenge. It was within 3 taps of the screen, you got to get to your song. That was the challenge at the time. Here it's, that 50-year-old lady needs to be able to do this because she may not be tech savvy, but we have to make it simple enough. And so we literally came in with technology that just says, okay, all we'll ask the user to do is take one device, whether it's a phone or a tablet, and hold it over the other one. That's it. We'll do the rest. We'll take the pictures. We'll do the sound sweeps, the sound checks. We'll do the RGB backgrounds. We'll do patterns. They don't even have to click anything. We'll just do it and then say thank you very much for your time, and we'll do the assessment.
That's incredible. I'm pretty sure that it's an amazing system that you've developed, and we definitely love to be able to see it more in action. So, could you tell us a bit more about the sort of availability of your system online?
Yeah, so the availability is still in my developers' hands. After that, it's got to pass through QC. Then we got to send that to Apple and to Google to pass their QC, and then it'll be live.
All right,
But
that's
I
great.
mean, we've done all of the internal proof of concepts. We've looked at the results, so we're quite. I wouldn't talk about it today if I didn't feel that it's going to come out. So um, there's a portion of our business that's based on that coming out. So I gotta. We're it's going to be out.
Well, we're looking forward to it highly, and it's definitely sounds amazing. So, I wanted to be able to switch gears up a little bit
Yeah.
and talk more about about the sort of personal growth that you've witnessed with being in the industry. So like you mentioned, you came from a history of like jukeboxes and the wireless industry, right? And now you're working with repair stores, and you have that sort of that connection with them from back in the day. So, with over the long career that you've had, how have things grown and developed for you as a person, and how have you sort of like evolved yourself and your company as a result?
Right. Well, those are some of that can be very deep and philosophical, but there's a couple of tenets that I've kind of subscribed to and maintain in my dealings with business, and one of the big ones is um, to always think about the client. At the end of the day, it's the client, and I know that I've read on your site. It seems that you guys also have that philosophy of it's not really about always hitting that home run every time. It's not always about catching the big whale every time. It'll happen in business. You hit the home run and you catch the big whale. But I come from a philosophy of think about the client. And as you heard me say before, one of our challenges in the jukebox days was give the client his song within 3 taps. That's what we have to do. It's not about can can you make him pay $2 for the song? Right now, give him the best experience and charge what's reasonable, what everyone else is charging, but give it to him in a way that's better than everyone else is giving it to him. And so I subscribe strongly to thinking about that client first and making them a raving fan. I mean that's a book that's out there, Raving Fans, that we as a corporation I had forced all my employees. One of the things to do is to read that book and understand what it really means and subscribe to that idea. And in that book, it talks about getting to a point where your clients are just raving about you, even if you're not going to make any money. And obviously you don't do it repeatedly, but there's a lot of little anecdotal stories in the book about, client coming up and needing to have something particular, and you're not offering that. It's just not part of your mix. As a company, you've decided not to offer that. But the guy that does offer it down the street, you tell the client, you say, listen, I'll make your life easier. So-and-so has it, but we're here for everything else, and we'll answer and we'll do the best we can. That client turns around and says, hey, at the very least, I know I can go to these guys and they'll give me the right time. So that's my philosophy. And that's what I like about the repair store industry, is that the entrepreneur owner, if they have that philosophy, they can enact it in their stores. You get to the big boys, it's tough. It's tough to make it trickle all the way down. But at a repair store business, you're much closer to the guy that started it. You might even be the guy that started it if you have a 1 store, 2 store outfit. If you've got a 10, 20 store outfit, though, you probably, the owner or the CEO or the guy that started it probably knows everyone and can sit with them and have a pizza with them and instill that in them. Is, think of our client first. That's one of my biggest tenets that I bring with me, even in our company.
Right. It's actually a really great tenet to live by, because it's really easy to get caught up in the economics of everything. If I raise my prices by this much, this is how much I can bring in, and this is how things are going down. The pandemic is coming, so I gotta make sure that my return on investment is secured, and I have a stable sort of like cash flow coming in. But at the end of the day, what matters really is that the person coming into your store, are their needs getting fulfilled? Are you able to take care of whatever their requirement is, and in the best way possible that probably no one else out there can do? If so, then you don't have to worry about trying to get that person back into your store, because you've already done that. You've already made a client. You've already secured them for life, probably, if you continue that service, right? And that is what the core tenet of business is missed out on a lot of people who probably started. Some of them do get it when they go down the line and they realize, all right, if I do this, then that's how I get more customers. That's how I get customers that keep coming back. Recurring revenue, recurring customers. And the book that you talked about, Raving Fans, I have it open up here right now, A Revolutionary Approach to Customer Service. It's a book by Ken Blanchard and yes, and Sheldon Bowles, right? So I believe that this book, it talks about the importance of customer service, the importance of thinking about the person who is on the other side of the counter, what their needs are, and then providing them all that they need so that they know that this is a place where they get what they want.
100%. And one of the things, that book is a very easy read, by the way, if anyone wants to pick that up. And it's a great book to instill, a philosophical approach to clients. But one thing that I did learn from that book is, if you can't, you can't. And if you don't, you don't. If someone's, hey, can you do mine in green? You know what? We don't do custom colors. I'd love to do it, but I'm going to tell you straight up, we just don't do custom colors. And then the client knows. If you start, figuring out ways to not tell them, but that's really what you're going to end up telling them, you're beating around the bush and he's not happy. And again, if you want something that your competitor might offer, then why not? And sometimes it's a good idea to meet up with that competitor that that he's offering something that you don't, and try to strike a deal with them. And I've done it. I've done it in this industry. There was, I got calls from people that were asking for something, and I know that there's another company out of Israel that does it, and it's a kiosk and it's a booth. And I said, you know what, that's your guy. I know him. I've spoken to him, and you don't take the approach of I've lost a customer. You take the approach as I've gained credibility. And now I've gained someone that knows that when they speak to me, I'll just tell them the time of day, because that's If you can gain that from a customer, it's even a lot more valuable when you do have something he wants, because now he knows and he trusts that you do have that what he wants, and I'm going to take it from you. Because when you didn't have it, you were forthcoming and said, I didn't, or I can't, or I'm not really your guy. But now I am your guy. You want such and such. You want me to repair that phone this way. You got to bust the screen and you're worried that it's not. Trust me. I'm telling you that I can do. But if you want a blinged out accessory that I don't carry, I know so-and-so down the mall, they've got blinged out accessories. Go there for that. But when you've got that other problem, that's when you come to me, because I'm your guy.
Right. That's actually yeah, it's a very interesting concept, because right now, what you just mentioned is sort of like a comparison of needs versus wants, and in a very specific way. So when you talk about, you know, um, being in business with your competitors and recommending them to your customers when you have services when they require services that you can't offer but your competitors can. Like you mentioned, it creates credibility when you can say, all right, I can't do this for you, but the guy across the street or so and so, they can do it for you. You should definitely go to them. So you gain the goodwill of a customer. At that point, if they were to buy something from you, it probably will not be because they need to, but because they want to buy it from you. The other person they might go to because that's what their need is. But if they were given the option to, if both of you carried the same service, and if they were given the option, they would want to come to you. They would want to give their money to you. And it's not a need anymore.
Right. And you've also gained their trust, right? So normally when you and I go and buy something and, product X, and you go into a place and the guy tells you, well, here, I can sell your product S, and here's the all the benefits and the costs and all that. You naturally say, well, okay, well, now I want to go to location B and do the same thing. If you've gained the credibility because the last time the gentleman came in, you said, you know what, I can't do that. Or it's not really what we do, but go to that other guy. The next time he comes in, he's not even doing the comparison anymore, because you've already told me when you can. You didn't try to sell it to me. You didn't try to figure out a way to get that $200 off of me. You just said, I can't do it. So now I don't have to product shop. When you told me the second time I come in for something, you say, yes, this I can do, and I'm the best at it, because here's what I can do for you. It looks like the cost seems normal, because you don't want to. That's not when you want to gouge, because you don't want to gouge your clients. But if you've got a respectable pricing scheme, you've already told him when you couldn't do it. So now when you say you can, you've avoided him leaving the store going somewhere else. It's okay. I trust you. I mean, you told me when you couldn't. Now you're my buddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the philosophy.
That is a great philosophy to have. I believe that, like you mentioned, when a customer comes in, right, the objective should be that, to be able to, by the time they walk out of the store, they'd have given you something. You would have made money off of them. The objective should be that by the time they walk out of your store, they're happy, they're satisfied, they have found something of value, right? Because that is exactly what's going to get them into your store again.
Even if it's just information.
Absolutely, if it's just information. They don't need to walk into your store and walk out and have to sort of pay a toll or something.
Right.
They can walk out for free, but with the knowledge and with the information that I'm covered. The person I went to knows what they're talking about, and they have my best interest in heart. So even if I just need information, they'll be able to give it to me. And hey, if they can give me information, they can give me something great else as well. And they deserve my money if they have the stuff that I want.
Yep, that's. I think that's that's our philosophy in business, and I see that. I see the possibility of that in the repair stores. Again, I'm a big believer. As the closer you get to the guy that actually started it and owns it, that creates a family, right? I mean, even at Touchstones, we had gone up to 300 employees, but I made it a point of pride to try and remember everybody's name. And my style is a walk around manager. So I would walk the floor and maybe pull up a chair and see someone. Hey, last time you said you had a problem with that. How's it going with that project we're giving you and everything? And maybe sometimes I've had a little piece of news and it only affected, for example, one specific area of the company, pull up a chair, impromptu, and talk to them about it, right? But in the repair stores, that's possible. You can't do that in a 10,000 employee outfit. You can do it in smaller sections of it, but it's tough to do from the top down. But in the repair store world, this is doable, and it could demark you, right? You now become distinguished from other businesses because of that personal relationship with the people that are there. Now, it doesn't mean that repair stores get the kind of traffic that's repeat traffic every week or every 2 weeks, but if the experience was an excellent one, it's very easy for that client to then go, hey, go see so and so. You're going to be told the truth, and it might even be that the guy's not going to serve you, but he might say, I'll tell you what you do need. You need to do it this way. You need to go see that guy. So it becomes easy for an outgoing client to refer because you've built trust. None of us want to refer a friend to someone that you're not sure if he's going to get gouged or not. You'd rather not. At least I'm that way. At that point, I just back off. I don't know. I don't know where to go. I don't have anybody. But if it's someone that I know will take care, even if it means that they don't make the sale, that becomes easy. Go see so and so.
Absolutely. And that's what matters quite a lot when it comes to running a business, is that you have the confidence of someone that they can refer, other people to you, that, you've convinced them enough that you're a trustworthy person and that their community can benefit from you. So that really counts for a lot. And I believe that, you've had experience with that, and that's something that you'd like to see more of.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing specifically with our attention to the repair store side of this wireless business, right? I mean, we want to come in and see if we can offer a plethora of programs and choose from within these, and let's see how we can help your business out.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a great way to be able to approach it. I wanted to be able to ask one final question over here.
Yeah.
So we've talked about, the sort of things that you see in the repair industry space, with independent repair stores that they can offer. What is it that you would like to see more of, that you see maybe it's not there or maybe it's developing? What is it that you wish that was more prevalent within the repair space?
I find that a lot of the repair stores that the owners that I've spoken to are still spending a lot of their time with the, it's not negative, but the mundane things. And sometimes you have to pull back a bit. Sometimes you've got to take a couple of days, pull back and say, okay, look at where the industry was 10 years ago. Look at where it was 5 years ago. Look at where it's going now, and try to form in your head a little bit of a trajectory and say, okay, it's clear that it's going to go towards so and so thing. Now, I've been told that sometimes I do this to my own detriment because we come out with stuff that's a little bit further ahead of the curve, and it takes people a bit of time to come up to it and say, "Oh, now I get it." Even the jukeboxes, it took a few years before everyone converted. Day one, you came up with an MP3 machine. It was like, what? Forget about it. We do CDs. That's what we do. And I remember another little anecdote when I started. The Macarena was like the hot song at the time. It's one of the all times most popular one-hit wonders. Mm-hmm. And it's great when you only have to buy one CD to hear that song. But if you handle 100 locations and you've got 100 jukeboxes and you got to buy 100, $15 CDs to make a couple of pennies or some quarters every time that Macarena song, you don't feel like buying one for every jukebox that you own. And so that's when we started to teach them about this new technology. If you look a bit in the future, a new technology, downloading, you can have access to all the songs without having to buy the CD. It's just one song at a time. That's the one you want. Now, at the time, streaming wasn't popular yet, so we would literally download the song onto the hard drive and then repeat it from there. But we had figured out a subscription system that they would get X number of songs every night. So they can, they would be able to go from their computer and decide which songs were in which bars, but a lot of them didn't do the sit back and say, okay, so we came from 78-inch vinyls. We went to the 45. Then, we went to the CDs, and it looks like the next thing is going to be this. Let me jump on it a little earlier rather than too late, where I don't become the new thing or the best thing, and I can't capitalize on the early adoption of a technology. And I'm worried that if the repair stores stick with the tried and true of just, let me just do that repair because I know how to do that repair, and can I get the screens at 10 cents less? Is that you have to do that, but then you need a portion of your time to say, okay, so what's coming up? Phones are becoming more and more expensive. Like already, this is late in my books. Already, repair guys needed to do this years ago to say, all right, it's no longer a $199 phone. It's now it's $1,299 phone. And so therefore, repair is not only going to be big, but even CPOs are going to be big. Should I offer phones for my clients to pick up? Because you're bringing an iPhone 10 for a screen replacement. You see what that's going to cost you. I don't know. Do you have an 11 around? Maybe I want to upgrade, and maybe I don't want to repair. Just, you take it, give me the other one. I'm busy. I've got a job to do. And so you start looking at how to have these things available. Protection plans. When I started to look around and I saw that it wasn't really available throughout all of the industry, understandable, because insurance company doesn't want to really talk to a onesie twosie type outfit. And for us, it was an opportunity. But now that it's available, is it something for you? So if you don't look at it and you say, this is a little too further ahead for me, protection plans, I never did it before, I'm okay to buy screen protectors and use a little protection plan there. Okay, but I'm letting go of this other possible revenue stream and this other offering that I can give my clients, so that when they walk into my store, they now know I do repairs. I can sell accessories. If I want to exchange my phone for a CPO, I have it available. If I want to trade it in, if I want to just trade it in and know what it's worth out on the market, I got a one-stop shop. After I bought my phone, now that client says I can go to, Johnny's repair shop and have all these things available to me. And if he gets it, if this client understands this after he's left your shop, when he goes back to his job and Teresa complains or says something about her phone, hey, the shop down the street, go there, you'll be able to trade, you'll be able to get a new one, you'll walk out and you'll be satisfied. That would be my little hint to the repair stores, is try to take a bit of time and think of where it's going.
Absolutely. That is very important, to be able to have the foresight to take time out and see what else is out there and what can I jump on right now. That's going to be big down the line. That is going to be very important for my growth and success down the line. And most importantly, that what my client is going to want for themselves down the line. So it's very important to have that. And I'm glad that, that's the kind of message that you want to put out. That's the kind of thing that you want to see in the repair industry. And I believe that, it's the way to go. So I think, that's pretty much putting a wrap on our episode over here. Just one final thing, this has been such a great conversation, Tony, and I'm sure that when people do listen to it, they're gonna want to follow up on it. So, where can they find you and your business online if they were ever to want to get in touch?
Yeah, so the business is on buybackbooth.com. And I'm my email, if ever they want to shoot me an email, it's just simply Tony@buybackbooth.com. I keep it simple.
Simple is great, right?
Yep.
Right, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people will be really, really happy to hear and get in touch with you and talk to you about all this stuff. And it's really great that that we have this opportunity to talk about it, because there is quite a lot that you've experienced over time, and it's a pleasure to be able to talk to you about it and learn more about it. So thank you so much, Tony, for taking the time out and coming on here with us.
Pleasure is mine. I love you guys. I respect that brand too. And I know you guys are doing good things and going forward. And I like the philosophy.
Right. Thank you so much, Tony.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Really, it's a pleasure for us, right? Thank you so much, Tony.